It's the second hour of Fire Your MD Now. Please visit the website, fireyourmdnow.com. Click on the longevity button and join our cause. If you are suffering with a chronic health condition, if you are suffering with a chronic loss of money, if you have a vitamin M deficiency, if you would like to have more green in your wallet, if you would like to have real-time financial security and build a financial empire, build a fortune helping people to recover their health, then this is just the company for you. FireYourMDNow.com. Click on the longevity button and join our cause. You can join us as a longevity distributor for $10. $10. And then you can upgrade in a week or a month or a year or 10 years if you want to for the full Monty. Longevity has 6 ways to pay people. 6 ways to pay people. When you join us at the $10 level, you have access to being paid in 2 ways. When you up the ante and join us at the full boat level of $500, $499, and you get $300 worth of product when you do that, quite frankly. $300 worth of stuff that you can sample to your friends and family members. So really you're only out $200 as far as the membership fees goes. The rest is products that you can use to build the business. When you ante up and come in as a membership at the full $500 level, you get paid all 6 ways. But you don't have to. Join us for $10 and see whether this is a fit or not. FireYourMDNow.com. You're going to love how you feel, and you're going to love what your bank account starts to look like when you simply follow our simple system. And this system is so easy. I've said it before. I'll say it until I'm in my grave, and then I'll say it from beyond the grave. If you can pass the driver's license test, you can become a longevity distributor and make boatloads of money over the course of decades and lift tens of thousands of people into health. I hope that you join us, because there are people in your neighborhood who are suffering for no reason other than lack of knowledge. Now, I feel bad because we had Sandy on the line from Michigan, but she had to drop out. Dr. Glidden was just rattling off at the mouth too much. She couldn't stick around and get to wait for me to shut up. Well, I guess what? I love the way that the internet works. Sandy is back with a question about arthritis. Thanks for coming back, Sandy. Sorry for the wait. You are live.
No problem. I'm always happy to wait. Your show's interesting to listen to, even when I'm waiting.
Oh, well, that's good to know. All right,
okay,
good.
A couple of questions. Let me do the small one here first. The smallest one is, I have a holistic doctor. Well, I'm not seeing him anymore on my own these days, but he once told me I needed this stuff called dimethylglycine DMG, HCI it's called, because he said that some people just don't have it, like it's like a genetic-y thing or something to that effect. I don't know.
Dimethylglycine?
Yeah. I mean, if I don't need to take this anymore, I'd rather not, because I'm taking all the longevity products.
No, there's no need to. There's no need to take dimethylglycine. I mean, that's just, what was it, in a pill or a liquid form? A
pill, and I don't even know why he would even, tell me I would need this.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of interesting information that floats around the world of integrative medicine. And, in the world of holistic medicine, a lot of doctors' therapeutics are based on theoretical research. It hasn't been substantiated with clinical trials. It sounds good and it makes intellectual sense, but whether or not it really cuts the mustard is anybody's guess, number one. And number two, even inside of the world of research for vitamins and minerals and clinical nutrition, inside the research world of clinical nutrition, there isn't anybody that's pursuing the research based on a holistic model. So all of the clinical research that's done about nutrition is based on a fractionated nutritional model. So all of the results are skewed because they're not doing the research with a population, a controlled population of completely nutrified, rats or mice or monkeys or gerbils or humans. They're just doing it with rats, mice, gerbils, monkeys, or humans, and they have no control as to that animal's nutritional status before, during, or after the research, and so it's a complete wild card. And this is where we come down, that really the fundamental thing here is not to get overly concerned with one specific nutrient. Don't lose sleep over vitamin D. Don't lose sleep over vitamin C. Don't lose sleep over omega-3, right? What you need to do is give your body all 90 essential nutrients appropriate for your body weight, increase your antioxidants, and stop eating crap. And when you do those three things, you're going to optimize your body's performance. And it is the rare individual that does those three things that then needs, extra vitamin C for the rest of their life, right? So I doubt very much that this is even a real thing. And, I guess, of course, Sandy, this begs the question, well, how do you feel?
No, I'm feeling better all the time. I mean, I'm sure I've been very under-nutrified in my life, and I've learned a lot through you and Dr. Wallach. But I am on the longevity products, and I'm just going to wean myself and not buy that junk anymore. I don't need to get it anymore.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
That's kind of what I wanted to check on. So
yeah, I would
just. It sounds like specialization is for insects. That's the way they work.
I'm going to use that. Yeah. Specialization is for insects. I'm going to write that down.
That's how I always thought of doctors, the way they look at things. You know what I mean? So I'm going back to school to study medical nutrition. And I'm going to follow your model and Dr. Wallach's model with all of this. So
good girl. Well, one thing about that, it's good to go to school to get a degree. Because when you have a degree, people in the lay community are more likely to pay attention to what you have to say, right? And in order to get the degree, you're going to have to put up with a ton of BS.
I already know that. I saw for my first class when they told me 16 minerals. I have to keep my mouth shut, which is not easy for me to do. I'm a little like you in that way, but I just have to shut up and it's almost like you got to learn the enemy's language. You know what I mean? So.
Well, God bless you. God bless you, Sandy, for walking down that road. Anything we can do to help you just let us know.
Yeah, and then, okay, so now I know that. Now I understand what I have in my pinky fingers. I'm kind of glad I have it because I know I'll get rid of it. But this with the little arthritis, I think that's what it is with those little knots in the joint and where they hurt a little bit there.
Yeah.
So, and I'm taking twice a day the liquid calcium, the Caltati, and I'm taking the 12 glucose gels a day along with everything else, and I'm off gluten, and I don't use spelt either, and I think that has a gluten product too, spelt.
That's correct. It does.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
I think a lot of people don't know. Okay, so how long, what are these knots exactly in the finger? I mean, what exactly does it comprise?
So it's a nodule in the actual joint of the finger itself, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's caused by inflammation of the joint. And 99% of the time, when any part of the body gets larger than it is supposed to be, it's because of a chronic inflammatory process, like the guest that I had today, Cheryl, right? She had a bone on her foot that the doctors called a bone spur, and it was getting bigger and bigger and more painful. Well, what causes that? Inflammation of the bones. What causes inflammation of the bones? Well, a million things can cause inflammation of the bones, but when the bones are nutrified appropriately, they can handle the stress of life, and unless you drop a rock on your foot, the bone's going to be just fine. So these nodules that you find around the fingertips or anywhere in the finger, often it's related to something called rheumatoid arthritis. Although you can have these nodules when you don't have rheumatoid arthritis. Basically, it's been a long-standing deficiency in your body in bone and joint nutrients, right? And because we use our fingers practically more than any other joint in the body, when the body is under-nutrified to a certain point, the fingers are going to start to become symptomatic first, right? So really, it's just a long-standing chronic, not to be redundant, bone and joint deficiency syndrome. There are a couple things you can do to speed this up. What you might want to do for 4 weeks is just double the amount of glucogel that you're taking. Just double the amount of glucogel. So, if you're 120 pounds, take the 240-pound dose for 4 weeks. Another thing that you could do is include into your program the Fucoid Z. And I did a webinar about that last night. It's posted in the archives now. So if you're a subscriber to my online health recovery program, you can just go and watch the webinar that I did last night about Fucoid Z. The great thing about that product is that the fucoidin, the stuff that's in the Fucoid Z, is it's extracted from seaweed. There are over 1,000 published studies on the effectiveness of this biochemical. 1,000 published studies. That's a lot, man. And, it's effective against breast cancer. It's effective against colon cancer. It's effective against lung cancer. It's effective against diabetes. It's effective against chemotherapy. It's effective against radiation poisoning. Oh, my God. And it's effective as a stem cell stimulator. So, one of the things that's gone wrong with your joints is they are undernutrified, and because they're undernutrified, they're not producing joint cells the way that they should produce joint cells, or they're producing unhealthy joint cells, so to speak. So when we can give the body stuff that stimulates the production of new joint cells, well, that would be a smart thing to do, and the fucoidin that's in the Fucoid Z ostensibly does that. So, yeah, you could, depending on what your budget is, right, depending on how good your longevity business is, you could either double up on the glucogel and or add the Fucoid Z to your dietary intake. The only problem with the Fucoid Z is, Sandy, that nobody knows what the dose is. You can't overdose on it, and more is better. It's a relatively expensive product, though, so either one of those strategies should work.
I'm already taking one bottle a month of that, and I'm about 110 pounds. So.
All right, so then I would double the glucogel. Double the glucogel for 4 weeks. And what you might want to do, just to kind of get an objective measurement of this, is figure out some way to measure the circumference of the nodule on the finger. Like with a piece of string or something, and then every week measure it again and see if it's going down. Because if it, goes down 10 or 20%, you might not notice it. But if you find some way to measure it every week, then you'll be in good standing. We're up against the hard break. Thanks for the call, Sandy. Give it a try. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Stick around. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 866-582-9933 is the number to call to talk to me live right now. And if you'd like to talk to a live human being about the health or business opportunity, 855-347-3696. If you're listening to the show and, I'm talking about arthritis or type 2 diabetes and what we do to support and promote the health of the body in the face of that diagnosis, and you've got it too and you'd like to give it a try, you don't need to call me. Just write down what I tell folks to do. Call the number up, 855-347-3696, and my friendly and informative crew will talk you through it and tell you what to do and hook you right up and give you the wholesale price to boot. You got to buy supplements somewhere, so you might as well buy ones that are science-based, clinically verified, and which are offered through a business model which promotes personal integrity and responsibility and survivorship on the planet, because that's what we are all about. Now, Frank's up next. Frank's been waiting for a little while here from San Antonio. Frank, sorry for the delay. Our phones are all jacked up today. How's everything down in San Antonio?
Okay, Dr. Very well, thank you.
All right, man. How can I help?
Yes, sir. Yes, Doctor. I'm actually calling for my girlfriend. She has fibroids.
Uterine fibroids? Yeah.
No, she has fibroids. She has like 4 large tumors and 2 small ones. I purchased that healthy pack with Dr. Joe Wallet.
Yeah.
And then taking that, and also the Dr. Dudwick, I think the flaxseed oil and the cottage cheese and the flax seeds. So she's been taking some of that, but still, she's still having the pain, and she's still, there hasn't been any improvement. So I thought I'd give you a call and see what else to do.
All right, so she has fibroids, right? Fibroid tumors of the uterus, correct?
Yes, doctor.
All right. So here's the deal, man. We always attempt to get to the root cause of what the problem is, rather than just, throwing a bunch of vitamins against the wall and seeing what's going to stick. So from our point of view, the thing that causes uterine fibroids, which is an overgrowth of uterine tissue, either inside or outside the uterus, is oxidative damage. It's oxidative damage to the uterine tissue itself. Oxidative damage. It's the same thing, from our point of view, that causes liver spots on the skin, right? It's the same thing that causes iron to turn to rust. It's the same thing that causes fruit to spoil. It's oxidative damage. So the main cause of oxidative damage in or outside the body is fried food and oil in a bottle. So she needs to completely stop eating anything that's fried. And I'm going to bet you 25 cents, man, that in her life up to now, fried food has been a big part of her life, right? Fried chorizos, or fried this or fried that, fried chicken, French fries, fried rice, right? Fried shrimp. It's fried food that's doing this from our point of view. And it doesn't matter, man, how many vitamins she takes. It doesn't matter how many drugs she takes. If she continues to eat stuff that's causing the problem, the problem's never going to go away, right? Right. All right. So there are two strategies here, Frank. Two strategies. Number one, we got to stop hurting the body. So she has to eliminate fried food and oil in a bottle. So that means no salad dressing, no olive oil. I don't want her to cook with oil anymore. I want her to use butter or lard instead. And, there are 8 other foods that we have identified as bad for you, bad for her, bad for me, that she needs to stop eating. And you can download that list for free by going to my website, fireyourmdnow.com. Right there on the front page, if you opt in for my free newsletter, the system will boot you to a page on my website that has the good food, bad food list on it, and also a little video that explains why. So opt into my free newsletter at fireyourmdnow.com. Download the good food, bad food diet, and on the bad food list there are 10 foods. I don't want her to even look at those anymore. And in addition to what she's doing now, how much does she weigh, by the way?
Right now, I believe it's 162.
All right. I want her to do 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month, 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month, and if she can afford it, 2 bottles of Z-Radical. 2 bottles of Z-Radical. 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, 2 bottles of Z-Radical, plus the Healthy Start Pack, plus complete elimination of those 10 bad foods. And, see what happens to the pain, see what happens to the tumors. Sometimes we can intervene here. Sometimes it's gone too long and the only option is a surgical option. I don't think so. Give it 90 days. Call me back, Frank. Thanks for the support. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, ladies and gentlemen. This is Fire Your Hey, if you're tired of your health going from hell to a handbasket, in a handbasket, if you're tired of things going from bad to worse, if, you don't see any end in sight, if you think you're only going to live to be in your 50s and then, you're going to die of a heart attack or something like that, if you don't want to be like your parents, or, be more like your grandparents, less like your parents as far as their health is concerned. What's up with that anyway? Why were our grandparents healthier than our parents' generation? Why was that? Well, it's because grandparents typically ate different foods. They ate eggs and butter and sugar and salt. They didn't have oil coming out their nose. They didn't have fried food coming out their nose. They didn't have Coca-Cola coming out their nose like we do here in this country. And by and large, the foodstuffs back in the day, because there was less agribusiness involved, had more nutrients in them. So our grandparents' generation was better nutrified than our parents' generation. And this generation is worse, and the next generation is going to be worse. That's why there's so much autism. That's why there's so many birth defects. That's why there's so much obesity now, because the nutrient value of the food is in the gutter. And it ain't genetic. It's got everything to do with nutrition. If you're tired of it, if you want to do things differently, if you want to, take a walk on the wild side and try good, new-fashioned medical nutrition, then you have come to exactly the right place. Give us a call. Give one of my associates a call, 855-347-3696. They'll talk you through what to do. And if you're a self-made person, just visit fireyourmdnow.com and click on the Longevity button and point and click your way into our community of like-minded souls, our worldwide community of health-minded, socially responsible human beings trying to make ourselves, our communities, and our countries better. Because that's what we're up to. Sound good to you? Sounds good to me. FireYourMDNow.com. Click on the Longevity button and get her done. All right, Vince is up next. Vince is calling from somewhere. I'm not sure where. Welcome aboard, Vince. Sorry for the wait.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's Southern California, and well, that'll make sense when I tell you.
Now I'm just jealous, Vince. Now I'm just jealous.
Yeah, well, that'll make sense when I tell you what happened and why I'm calling. So Christmas, I was out surfing, and I took my surfboard in my right arm about as hard as I could do it without breaking it. And I've got a hematoma on my bicep right above my elbow, I've got from my elbow down to my thumb, my whole arm is kind of green and purple, and it's unbearable. I can't sleep at night. And so I've got the hematoma, which is a throbbing thing, and then I've got, and the whole lower arm is just burning on fire most of the time.
Okay, and is it throbbing burning? Or is it steady?
Sometimes,
steady pain?
Sometimes, yes, and a lot of joint pain in the wrist.
Okay. So where did you hit, and was the blunt force trauma to the upper arm?
Yes, it was to the bicep right above the elbow.
Okay, and that's where the majority of the symptoms are, and then it kind of spreads out down into the lower arm, is that right?
Yeah, actually, the symptoms are more aggravating in the lower arm.
Isn't that interesting? Okay, very good. So now here is where you have the potential, man, to see the unrivaled magnificence of homeopathic medicine. Now, I don't talk about homeopathy a lot on this show because, number one, it's a complicated subject. Number two, Longevity doesn't sell homeopathic products. And number three, it's a complicated subject, right? So we prescribe or we recommend medical nutrition generically. And the only real difference in the recommendations is based on your body weight, or, if you have 2 or 3 conflicting or different diagnoses, then we're going to change it up a little bit. But, if you've got high blood pressure or your neighbor's got high blood pressure or your brother's got high blood pressure or somebody in Saudi Arabia's got high blood pressure, the recommendation for medical nutrition with diet and the supplements is going to be the same for everybody based, of course, on their body weight. With homeopathy, it's different. Homeopathic treatment is indicated for the individual illness, right? For the individual illness. Right? I could have quintuplets all with pneumonia. They could have given it to each other, and in order for them to recover from the pneumonia with a homeopathic treatment, it is entirely possible that they would each need a different medicine, because that's how homeopathy is prescribed. Now, inside of the philosophy and the pragmatic application of homeopathic medical treatment, there are a few exceptions to the rule. Generally speaking, the first homeopathic medicine to consider when you have a hematoma, which is a fancy schmancy doctor talk, folks, for black and blue. When you have a black and blue anywhere in your body which is caused by blunt force trauma, then the preeminent medicine of choice, before you do anything else, is homeopathic Arnica montana. Arnica montana. So I want you to write that down. Arnica, A-R-N like Nancy, I-C-A, and then Montana, just like the state. Arnica montana. Now, homeopathic medicines are dispensed in small blue tubes. They're about the size of your index finger. And every Whole Foods in the country has homeopathics in their vitamin aisle, and most health food stores have a section of homeopathic medicines in their vitamin aisle. There's a couple of online companies where you can go if you live out in the boondocks, and they'll mail the homeopathic medicines to you. And the homeopathic medicines are dispensed in different strengths. So, and typically the strengths go like this. 6C, C like Charlie, 12C, 30C, 200C, or 24, CK, 1M, 10M, 50M, and 100M. Now, the best thing to do, if it were me, and I had blunt force trauma to my arm with a giant hematoma, I would do Arnica montana 200C or 200CK. That's not easy to find. Arnica montana 30C is very easy to find. I mean, any health food store in the world will carry that. You might get luckier at Whole Foods as far as finding a 200C strength, but really it depends on, how with it they are at your particular health food store. So the first choice would be Arnica montana in the 200C strength. The second choice would be Arnica montana in the 30C strength. And you don't bother with the Arnica gel, because I've never seen that work. I've never seen the gel work, but I've seen the little pellets work beautifully. Now, those little tubes that the homeopathic medicines are dispensed in, they're little blue tubes, they're filled with about 100 little white medicated pellets. And the recommendation to support and promote the health of your body in the face of blunt force trauma with homeopathic Arnica montana is to take 2 of those little pellets and pop them in your mouth and suck on them like a Tic Tac. Do 2 pellets every 3 hours if it's the 30C strength, and do 2 pellets 3 times a day if it's the 200C or the 200CK strength, all right? 2 pellets every 3 hours of the 30C while you're awake, or 2 pellets 3 times a day of the 200C or the 200CK strength. You just pop those babies in your mouth and suck on them like a Tic Tac, and you will know within 24 hours whether or not this is the correct prescription for you. And this is the thing with homeopathy. Really, this is the good news and the bad news about homeopathy. Because when you're attempting to fix your body with homeopathy, it's hit or miss. There is no gray area. The medicine is either correct and provokes a remarkable response, or it doesn't do a damn thing. It's black or white. There's no gray area. And you'll know within 24 hours whether this is the correct prescription. If it is the correct prescription, then just soldier on. Continue to take the remedy in that dosage schedule until you feel as if you're on the other side of it or it's just not working anymore. And then let it ride. Then the thing with homeopathy is we just take it for a day or 2 in an acute sense, and then once it capitulates the recovery from the body, we stop taking it. It's kind of like jump-starting a dead battery in a car. Once the engine turns over, you remove the cables. You don't need to keep giving it juice. So once you feel the medicine working, and the pain's reduced, the burning's reduced, and the hematoma is starting to, disappear before your eyes, stop taking it. And then once your recovery, if your recovery hits a wall, you can start it up again. Kind of like a cough medicine. You take a cough medicine, the cough gets better, you don't take the medicine anymore, and then you start coughing, you take the medicine again. So it's like that. That would be the first thing to do. And I tell you what, man, I've been doing this for 24 years. And before I got involved heavily with medical nutrition under the tutelage of Dr. Wallach, all I did was homeopathy. That was my main therapeutic intervention. I am a classical homeopathic physician. And you wouldn't believe the things that I've seen people recover from with homeopathy. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. And when you combine homeopathic treatment with medical nutrition, oh man, it is a slam dunk. So, of course, this is kind of an acute thing, right? And the homeopathic stuff will support and promote your body's ability to get out of the woods quickly, to reduce the pain, reduce the inflammation, and help you kind of feel like you're on the road to recovery. And then to support that, of course, because there's been a trauma to your muscles and bones, right? There's been a trauma to kind of your musculoskeletal system, then what we would do here, Vince, is we just give your body musculoskeletal support. And the single best way to do that is with one healthy bone and joint pack. So order from Longevity, one healthy bone and joint pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month, and take it. And part of the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack is a topical cream called CM cream, like Charlie Michael. And the CM comes from, it's a shorthand for a biochemical called cetylmerylstolate, which is an extract from fish oil, actually. And this stuff is fantastic at helping to mitigate pain. You apply it topically wherever you have pain or inflammation. You don't want to apply it over an open wound because it'll sting. So you apply it topically wherever if you have pain and inflammation, which would basically be your whole darn arm. And you'll know within 30 minutes whether the CM cream is effective, because if it is effective, you notice there's a noticeable and measurable reduction in the amount of pain and inflammation within 30 minutes of application. And if the CM cream is effective, it's effective for 4 or 5 hours. So you put some CM cream on, it knocks everything down, and then 4 or 5 hours, pain starts to come back, you just put more CM cream on it. So the homeopathic Arnica montana, the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack with the CM cream, and that's just part of the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack, should, when you take all these things all together, I mean, it should really remarkably speed up your recovery. And it's entirely possible, man, that just the Arnica montana all by itself will fix it here for you. Right?
Yeah, but can I ask you one thing about the Arnica then? I've got Arnica montana, I think the label says 30X.
Yeah, that's different. You need 30C.
30C, okay.
Yeah, and see, that's a good question. That's the thing. 200C is much better.
200C, I'll look for that. Okay.
It would kind of be like the difference between beer and whiskey. If what you're trying to do is catch a buzz, right? Well, you catch a buzz better from whiskey than you do from beer. Well, the effectiveness for something that's this intense would be better with the 200C or the 200CK strength. So I would kind of go out of my way to try to dial that in and find it, all right? Okay, so check it out, man, and then call me back and tell me what happened, right? Check it out, call me back, because I'm very interested in what your experience of this is going to be. We're up against a hard break, Vince. Thanks a lot for the call, man. Thanks for letting me ramble on about this. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. I'm talking to you when we come back. Last segment here at Fire Your MD Now. And we've got Corey from Calgary with a very interesting situation here. Corey, thanks for calling. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah. So, epidermal bullosa, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And is this in a newborn baby?
He's 2 years old now.
Okay. So let me just tell folks what this is. This is a very interesting condition. This is actually a birth defect. The technical term is epidermal bullosa. And what happens here is that for all intents and purposes, our skin has 3 layers. The dermis, the epidermis, and I think it's the subdermis, I can't remember. But there's 3 layers. And the 3 layers are held together by these little protein hooks. And in people who have this genetic inherited condition, it's actually not an inherited, I do not believe, as the medical community is telling you, it's actually an inheritable disorder. I believe it's caused by nutritional deficiencies in the developing fetus. But nonetheless, we don't have time for that conversation. But, this is a genetic problem. It's caused by a mutation of a particular gene. What causes mutations of genes? Not enough nutrition while the fetus is developing. So, once someone is born with this, just like if you're born with Down syndrome, there's no going back. However, you can optimize the function in the face of any condition. You can optimize your body's ability to handle it. But in this particular condition, because the body doesn't have the ability to produce these little protein hooks, the 3 layers of your skin slide independent of each other and they're not connected. So when you rub the skin or there's any pressure or abrasion to the skin, which just happens normally from walking and moving around, you get blisters. And some of the blisters on these kids, or young adults or adults who have this condition, can be as bad as 3rd-degree burns. So what do we do in order to support and promote the health of somebody's body? Well, there's been very interesting research with a particular a classification of biochemicals derived from broccoli and cauliflower, and these chemicals are called sulforaphanes. Sulforaphanes. Sulforaphanes are used. They've done sulforaphane therapeutic injections and topical skin creams with animals, and there's been almost 100% improvement in the condition. So the recommendation here is that this child eats lots of broccoli and cauliflower. Lots of broccoli and cauliflower, and the 90 essential nutrients appropriate for body weight with extra liquid glucogel. Extra liquid glucogel. Why? Because the glucogel has a product in it called MSM, which is methyl sulfonyl methane, MSM. It's a sulfur bearer, as is the sulforaphane, right? So we want to give more sulfur to this child. And in addition to that, the selenium also, because the selenium provides copper, which is also necessary for the health of the skin. So this child has to avoid the 10 bad foods. I would counsel one Healthy Start pack per 100 pounds of body weight per month. The glucogel, dosed at one bottle of the liquid glucogel per 50 pounds of body weight per month. One bottle of the glucogel per 50 pounds of body weight per month. And one bottle of the selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month. If he's under 50 pounds... and he's 2 years old. If he's under 50 pounds, give him one bottle. I want him to at least be having one bottle of selenium a month. And if you can find it, I'm not sure if the Longevity Company carries this. You might want to do a little search inside, inside the shopping cart. See if the company still carries MSM. Independent MSM. And if they do carry MSM, then give him some MSM. You can't overdose the MSM. I would give him 6 MSM capsules a day. 6 MSM capsules a day. And if you can't find it inside of Longevity, then I would get it over the counter somewhere. So do the MSM, do the selenium, do the glucogel, do the Healthy Start pack, and a diet that's high in broccoli and cauliflower, and completely eliminate the 10 bad foods. Try that for 8 weeks. 8 weeks should be all that's necessary to get a leg up on this particular condition. And keep me posted, Corey. You're doing good work up there in Calgary. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. You wasted another perfectly 2 good hours listening to my radio program, Fire Your MD Now. Thank you for your support. I'm back in the saddle on Monday, and remember, all next week, we're busting flu myths left and right. I'll talk to you then.